Hey everyone, for today I'm going to teach you how to graph systems of linear inequalities. This is the same lesson I did before, but that one was, if you saw that video, that one is easier because the equations are already set up. This time we will be having equations that are not in the slope-intercept form, so we need to manipulate the equations first, okay? So I'm going to give you that kind of example later on. Let's review the steps. Number one is this is what I'm talking about earlier. The first thing we need to consider is that the equation is in this form. Y equals mx plus b. I know it's an inequality, so just keep in mind that that equal sign is less than or sometimes it's greater than. So in my first video, the equations are already in that form, so it's easier. This time we have to do some, we need to manipulate the equation, okay? Now, reminder again, we will use a solid straight line if the problem has less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. Those are inclusive inequalities. Next, we use a dashed line for non-inclusive inequalities. We will shade the half plane above the y-intercept if it's greater than. We shade half plane below the y-intercept if it's less than. We will be doing those two procedures for the second inequality, and we will see that the overlapping region, shaded regions, will represent the solutions to the system. And if you want to check the answer, you just need to pick 1 point from the overlapping region to see if what your graph, if what you did is correct. All right, let's go now to the problem. This is what I'm saying. So I have here x minus y is less than 2 and x plus 3y is less than or equal to 6. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make x minus y less than 2 equal to y equals mx plus b. It should be in that form. So let's start with that. Okay. So I'm going to subtract x on both sides because what we want to see on the left is just the y, right? So this is going to be negative y is less than negative x plus 2. Now we want the y to be positive, so what that means we will divide this by negative, and also each of the two terms on the right side we will divide that by negative. So this will be y. Now keep this in mind. Every time you divide or multiply a negative number in an inequality, that inequality will switch to its opposite, or it will change. Since we are having here less than symbol and we divided the negative 1, now it will become greater than. All right, x, negative x over negative 1 is positive x, positive 2 over negative 1 is negative 2. All right, so now from here we will try to find these two important things. What are those two? And those two things are the basis of our graph. First is the y-intercept, and here it's 0, negative 2. Slope here is the numerical coefficient of x, okay? Now you can see there it's 1, but for the purpose of this lesson, I'm gonna make it 1 over 1 to emphasize the horizontal movement, all right? All right. Now using this 2 now, I'm gonna graph the first inequality. Let's start with that y-intercept. It's right here. And then that's 1 over 1. I said it's just 1. I know that, but I want to emphasize the horizontal movement. So that's why I put the denominator 1 there. So 1 unit upward, it's positive. I'm talking about the number on top or the numerator. And then 1 unit to the right. Right, all we need to do to have our 2 points. So now that we have those 2 points, we will connect those 2 points using either, we need to decide, are we going to use the dashed line or the solid straight line? Since this is a non-inclusive inequality, we will using a dashed line. I know, it's not that pretty, but imagine it's just a straight line, so it's a dashed line. Next, the shading part. It is a greater than, so we will shade above that y-intercept. Our y-intercept is at 0 and -2. Above of that are these points. All right. So that is the graph of the first inequality. Let's try to graph the second one. This time I'm gonna use, let's see, blue ink. X plus 3y is less than or equal to 6. So subtract x on both sides. This gives us 3y is less than or equal to -x plus 6. And then I'm going to divide 3 on both sides. So y is less than or equal to -x over 3 plus +2. And then we need to find the y-intercept of this and the slope. Y-intercept. It is at 0 and 2. It's this one, right? Next is the slope. This is perfect. We have a denominator here, so -1 over 3. Let's start with let's start from that y-intercept 0, 2, and it is right here. That's -1, meaning 1 unit downward. +3, that means 3 units to the right side. So those are 1, 2, 3. There you go. Now, since we have those 2 points now, all we need to do is to connect those 2 points. And again, we need to decide, is it going to be a solid straight line or a dashed line? Yep, that is right. It's going to be a solid straight line because this is an inclusive inequality. All right, there you go. I know it's not that straight, okay, but that should be that's close to the to what is really the correct answer. The line. It's not that straight, but anyways. So now the shading part, which is the last one. This is a less than symbol, so that means we will shade below that y-intercept. Our y-intercept is at 0 and 2, and below of that is this. I'm going to shade that now. All right, now you notice there is an overlapping region, the one that you see the blue ink and the red ink. That is the solution, meaning those are the solutions, the numbers that are there. Okay, I'm gonna emphasize that using, let's see, green here. Okay, this area right here is the solution to the system. So any number here. Right? All right, there you go. So that's how you graph systems of linear inequality in a different form. Okay, thank you for watching.